You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels slow, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
Welcome in, everybody. Once again, it is the ECR NextGen League live here on Sim Racing Media. Last time we saw these drivers, they were at the newly renamed Echo Park Speedway, and it was a masterclass of drafting. Everybody had a chance for a while. Ryan McCall wound up bringing home the victory. Aaron Spear in second, and Dwayne Burtick brought up P3. And with that, I'm going to bring in our broadcast partner here, Shane Cochran. Shane, man, how's it going?
Doing great. Excited to see some action here at the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware. Always puts on a great show, whether it's pit strategy, wheel-to-wheel racing. It's going to be a fantastic race here.
Yeah, it definitely is. We did have the Eliminator Challenge last week for the Final Four, and unfortunately, Adam Boughton had a huge run. He was running really well inside the top 5 multiple times, and then one costly pit exit penalty cost him his chance at that. So he is going to be eliminated last week. We are down to the final 3 this week. Tristan Bailey, Tyler Burden, and Doug Denise. They were pretty close to each other all night last week. We'll see what Dover has in store here as they get ready to take to the track. Qualifying is just about over, and it looks like Kyle Diaz has not taken a qualifying lap, so he might not be able to, or he might just be going to start at the back. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if we can bring up the points, though. We got Tristan Bailey up there on top at 9:05, Dwayne Furtick 8:79, and Tyler Burden 8:37. So a pretty tight battle, but all of that is not going to matter here in a couple weeks when we reset everything and we head off into the chase. They just have to get there.
Yeah, I mean, what really matters here is going to be the cutoff for who's going to make it into the chase.
Yeah, because we got some kind of tough tracks coming up. We have Indianapolis next week, Pocono, and then Michigan, and then we're off for 3 weeks before iRacing Super Speedway, and then that's the cutoff. So got a few weeks to figure out if you're going to be able to make it or what you have to do to get there. We'll have to see what can happen here, but they are already set to get down on the grid. So we will head trackside right now. Tristan Bailey, one of those aforementioned drivers on or in the Eliminator Challenge. We'll have to see what he can do here as he gets set to take him from the pole. We've got Tristan Bailey, Ryan McCall on that front row. Andrew Chapman and Dwayne Furtick. Andrew Chapman was one of the only drivers who made any headway on that outside lane last week, so we'll have to see how they can how that strategy works tonight. Michael Carter, Carlin Bollinger back on row 3. Row 4, Tyler Burden and Justin Hendry. Aaron Miller and Kane Lee make up row 5. Row 6, Adam Boughton and John Osborne. Go on back to row 7, Doug Denise and Aaron Spear. Jonathan Cogswell and Christopher Roth are going to start in row 8. Row 9, Pete Walsh and Anthony Ludi. Kent Mueller and Gary Nash going to start in row 10. And looks like if Kyle Diaz jumps in, looks like he did. So he is going to start at the tail end of the field. But there is plenty of time to make your way to the front here. It is going to probably be about strategy and seeing when any cautions fall and how you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, this is a real technical track. It seems on the surface, you know, it almost seems too easy, especially on fresh tires. You can kind of do whatever you want. And then right around 7 to 10 laps, that right front starts wearing out if you're not respecting it. And you're going to be in the wall out of turn 2. And then from there on out, it just gets worse. The car gets tight on exit, loose on entry, and it becomes a handful. So you really have to concentrate to save that right front, in my opinion, especially out of turn 2, or kind of diamond the corners. We'll see a lot of drivers probably move to that strategy where you enter really low and use the banking to slow the car down instead of the brakes and the right front, and then you shoot back down to the bottom on exit, so you don't have to worry about getting tight and getting into the wall. But that doesn't work if you're too wide, because you've got to give room to the other person, and they're going to be taking advantage of that high line for that low exit and pulling over crossover moves and things like that. So if you can get spaced out, there's a lot you can do to save tires. If you're side by side, there's nothing you can do but try to get some clean air. Like I said, this is going to be an exciting race. I love Dover. I love driving it. I love watching it. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it definitely is. The pace car makes that left-hand turn down pit lane, and we are set to go in the Team Papaya 200 from Dover. Tristan Bailey going to lead him on down to that restart zone, and he is hard on the throttle. And we are green flag racing, and we're under yellow.
Disastrous start here. Multiple cars spin the tires and get sideways. That was ugly.
That is definitely
I'm
not
not-
the way you want to start the race.
I'm not even sure exactly where that started.
Yeah. Let's see if we can maybe see what happened.
The 9 is on the pole.
Now we'll look back here at Andrew Chapman. Oh, it looks like row 2 might have just been a little hard on their rear bumpers there, as both of the leaders. Let me get maybe a little bit different view here.
Just really odd to see 2 cars both in the front row spin out.
Because there's the restart zone. Gets a little bump
Chapman's
there.
right on him, but Furtick is nowhere near the.
Nope, Furtick's nowhere
90.
near McCall. No. McCall just spun his tires, and looks like Tristan Bailey might have done almost the same thing, but maybe had a little bit of help there, as Andrew Chapman was right there on his rear bumper too.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder if there's a bit of a decision to be made on starts and restarts of what gear to be in. And, I feel like this happens at a couple tracks in this next-gen car where starting in second feels kind of slow, and you get really tempted to try it in first, and you do it once and it works great, and you go, hey, that's what I'm going to do from here on out. And then you forget that on cold tires at the beginning of the race, the car's going to act a little bit different, and those tires are going to spin easier. If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess that's what happened. Both drivers on the front row, knowing they want to get a great start, being aggressive, starting in a lower gear than maybe what they practiced with.
See if it'll show us here on this replay. I don't know if it'll show it on the replay. Yeah, it does not. Something to look forward to on the next restart. Maybe I'll bring up their dashboard and see what gear they're starting in. I'm assuming because we didn't get a lap, we are going to probably have a single file restart maybe, so that might change things up a little bit. We'll have to see here momentarily. Yep, lights are out. We're
Looks like
not.
it'll be too wide.
Yep. Some leagues do it and some leagues don't. So.
Yeah, I mean, what a rarity here for ECR. We don't usually see a caution come out that quickly. Especially like that. I've never seen both drivers in the front row on a start or restart spin their tires and get loose like that.
I don't think I've ever seen it, and I'm sure they don't want to see it again. So they are locked and loaded one more time. I got the dashboard up so we can take a gander and see what gear they're starting in. Looks like he has downshifted. Andrew Chapman has downshifted to second gear as they get tightened up here on the pace car. One out of turn 4 into that restart zone. You're down and away. And we have made it further than we did last time.
Yeah, like I said, we saw Chapman in second.
And now we didn't.
We spoke too soon. But yeah, you could see Chapman was in second gear. Like I said, I'm going to guess those guys that spun out there at the beginning were in first gear, trying to get a little too much out of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's one of those tempting things because 45 is really slow for second gear, but at the same time, it's a little much for first gear. Well, let's take a look, see what happened back here. Leaders get taken off pretty good. Roth just spins it right into the 40, the 88, the 06. Tristan Bailey barely squeaks by.
Yeah, that's... I wonder if we didn't take a look at the weather. I don't think it's. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at the weather there, Mike. We've got the air temp is 77. That feels pretty normal, but the track temp is 116. That might be what's factoring in here.
Yeah, that concrete is hot.
You know, we always think about asphalt getting hot. You don't think too much about concrete getting hot just because it's a little bit lighter, but here today, it is cooking. And it does look like the sim date is June 21st. I know most kind of auto-generated races occur in the middle of May, where the temperatures are a little bit cooler than we'd expect in the middle of June like this.
Well, all three of our Eliminator Challenge drivers are on pit lane. They do not have a faster pair like we had last week, as this is a mile oval here, so could be a long night for them.
Yeah, ECR kind of does it old school, no fast repair, no stages. No win and you're in chase format. It's all on points, so you've got to be consistent all season long to work your way in. And we were talking about the points a little bit. I was just taking a peek at that. It's the top 12 drivers are the ones that get in, and last week Ryan McCall jumped 2 spots with that victory up into 12th, making him just above the cut line, just 8 points ahead of Aaron Miller, who might have missed last week's race. I mean, he really fell in the points, lost 4 positions.
He is back this week, though, currently running inside the top 5, able to avoid all the carnage on the first couple laps there.
Just a reminder, again, some of the ECR rules, you know, you want to win, you want to get positions, those give you points, but they also have bonus points for, you know, just kind of being consistent. Turn a lot of laps, do a lot of races in the schedule, you're going to get some bonus points. Hard charger is a good one. That's kind of like the most laps gained, or sorry, most positions gained in the race. You can get a bonus point for that. You can get 2 bonus points for leading the most laps, and fewest incident points on the season. You're going to get a little more bonus points there. So there's a lot there, and 6 bonus points go to the in-season Eliminator Challenge here. So between Burden, Denise, and Bailey, those guys have 6 points on the line in those season standings, and that might be what it comes down to. Is we've got our 3rd try at green flag, and so far we're going to make it at least a half a lap this time.
Single filed out pretty quickly down in the front, but Kane Lee's trying to push it down on the bottom side inside of Anthony Ludi.
You mentioned pre-race, Mike, that Kyle Diaz wasn't here in time to qualify, or maybe he had a penalty that didn't let him qualify. He's already up 11 positions. He's in the top 10. Wasting no time making the most of those early cautions.
Yeah, avoid him, and then he is up several spots. Didn't, and he even hit pit lane on the first one, so. Look up front here is Colin Bollinger has went to the point here.
A little bit different line there. Bollinger about a half car length off the seam at the bottom. Chapman hugging it really tight. There just always seems to be a little bit more grip if you can, you hear drivers say if they can hook their left front down there on that seam, it just seems to pull you around the corner. And there Bollinger, he starts to get a little bit lower too.
Yeah, I think right now they might be a little bit nervous of trying to start to diamond that a little bit. I'm sure that is going to be the more preferred line once these tires kind of wear out a little bit.
Yeah, and I pay attention to how close they are to the wall when they come out of the turn. Not even. I mean, there's a full car width, 10 feet plus over there. That is going to change when these tires wear out. I think last lap we saw Aaron Miller. He was pushing a little bit. He slapped the wall. But these drivers playing it really safe right now. Like you said, I don't think anyone's super comfortable or confident in the grip of the cars based on the early cautions.
Yeah, I think I heard over the team radios that they weren't even full throttle when they started to spin those tires. So definitely something to kind of pay attention to as this race wears on, especially if we have more restarts and pit strategy kind of comes into play if drivers stay out and wind up on different tires. Like Tyler Burden's going to go down to the bottom, try and make a pass here on Kyle Diaz.
He's going to get it done. I think this race has the feel of drivers, really working with patience early on. We saw Kyle really moving up in the field early on, but Burden catches him. He says, hey, I'll just let you go. There's no reason for me to risk getting into the wall too wide. No reason to burn up the tires. Let's both go to the front if we can.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what's playing out here is everybody's kind of taking a backseat just a little bit, gonna ride around, log some laps, see what they can do here. Pete Walsh gets by Gary Nash. Just in front of them.
There was on one in that 81, a little bit different paint scheme than we're used to seeing him in. The Jordan scheme.
But Kent Mueller's kind of starting to get that high line, staying up out of the way. It looks like a little bit, maybe saving a little bit of tires here, just kind of rolling around.
Yeah, I think the fuel window is going to be somewhere in the mid 60s, so we've got a long way to go before we're going to kind of finish up a green flag run here. It looks like McCall kind of way in the back. I wonder if he's got some damage left over from one of those early cautions.
Yeah, he didn't.
On the front row at the beginning.
Yeah, he did nose pretty hard into the wall on that first restart there. He is still on the lead lap, but just barely. Aaron Spear is almost 6 laps down, so has some work to do.
Still out front and just growing his lead now, 1.3 seconds. He's still not really getting all the way down to the bottom in the turns. Starting to diamond it just a little bit. See these new in-season tournaments going both in real NASCAR and here at ECR. Bird and Bailey and Denise battling here, but have you been following the real-life NASCAR one, Mike? It's been completely different than I expected after Atlanta really messed up everybody's brackets.
I would say after Atlanta, it kind of everybody kind of crumbled it up and tried to start again, and then even after that, it was still, you had a few sneak by there, some Cinderella stories. I know Ty Dillon is having some fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, Ty Dillon, I don't know about you. Ty Dillon's just one of those drivers. He's not really on my emotional investment scale. I'm not, really pulling for him, not really cheering against him. But this has been kind of fun to. He's really leaned into it. He's enjoying it. And that's made me pull for him a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I like the comment after he beat Denny Hamlin, and Denny Hamlin was asked about it, and he goes, "Oh, let him have it. I gave it out. I've got to be able to take it." And that's not necessarily something that you hear from a lot of NASCAR drivers in general.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a nice change of pace.
Bollinger leading the race. He's already has 5 wins on the season, so looking to add another one there.
Like there might be a good battle back around 4th between Aaron Miller and Justin Hendry. And then Adam Boughton just behind them. He's trying to get in on that action too. They're the 3 closest cars on the track.
Definitely are checking in on that YouTube chat. And with Cartman in there saying, now if only there was a road course in each round of the playoffs so that SVG could be a NASCAR Cup champion.
I mean, I'm really torn on this as a, I feel like I'm a pretty balanced, traditionalist versus, hey, let's try something different kind of guy. But I mean, just nobody has anything for SVG on the road courses, so he's certainly earned that. But what does that mean for a championship run? I don't know. Until he has something to show at Martinsville or Bristol, I don't see any way he's going to be able to make it to the end of the playoffs.
Yeah, no. I think I don't think that's possible. And I mean, especially now with Phoenix, that's not a place to try and get a win there for SVG.
I feel like maybe the person who should be the most upset about SVG is probably AJ Allmendinger. Before SVG got there, he was kind of this road course ringer guy who could pull off a surprise upset at the road courses, and he's just been nowhere to be found since SVG came on the scene.
Yeah, that is 100% true. I mean, he looks at it because he hears some interviews about him, and he does the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, I just have to get better. I can't be complacent on where I am." So it does kind of help some of those drivers that are better at road courses to push themselves to get even better.
There goes Cogswell and Burden battling. Burden going to get through. Aaron Miller just in front of them. We got Tristan Bailey working. Looks like he might still have some damage from that first caution on his car, but not stopping him from moving forward. Both Burden and Bailey were kind of towards the back when we started this green flag run, and they have been knocking cars off one at a time.
Yeah, they've definitely been taking their time moving up through the field. Tristan Bailey spent 54 seconds in his pit box on lap 6 to try and get that thing fixed up, and I don't know if he has it all fixed, but he got enough to feel a little happy here, and he is moving towards the front. Take it back in here. It looks like Kyle Diaz has lost a few spots. Just trying to stay out here and run some laps, it looks like. I think he'll foul out pretty quickly, though.
Yeah, I mean, Dover's a track where you can be too wide, but it's just not smart. It hurts both drivers' tires and speed to do it. So, coming down to the end of the race, yeah, you're going to see probably a little bit more of that. But when someone has a run on you, you kind of just need to let them go and try to play the long game.
Did you say that? Just looking here. If we can take a closer look as Tristan Bailey goes down to the inside, trying to get by Aaron Miller. Aaron Miller on the front of that number 10 machine. That nose is caved in pretty badly here, so that has got to be hurting that number 10 Toyota. But he is still battling hard, staying inside the top 10 for the moment.
Yeah, I saw him a lot further forward when this run started. So whether it's the damage or just kind of the arc he's taken into the corner, he's going to be looking for some improvements and adjustments on the first stop of the day. He's one of the drivers that has not been to pit road yet at all.
Anthony Ludi trying to, I think he was trying to diamond. Oh, Aaron Miller hard off the wall. Trying to diamond the corner here. Just not quite enough. Looks like he came in, entered a little high, but he has got turn exit. He gets right down on that line, trying to carry some speed down the backstretch. Another battle brewing up here.
Continuing to move forward, just getting past Kane Lee. Lee, of course, rocking that Papaya paint scheme as he always does. Especially a good-looking scheme here in the Papaya 200.
Yeah, the Papaya 200 started off with a couple rapid-fire pizza yellow flags, but now they have got that scheduled out of the way, and they have been green flag racing since then. Colin Bollinger putting on a little bit of a clinic right now, almost out to, well, he was out to almost a second and a half, but kind of reined it in just a little bit as Andrew Chapman is closing the gap ever so slightly.
Another one of those McLaren Papaya cars. Speaking of McLaren, have you had a chance to see the new F1 movie there, Mike?
I have not yet.
Well, I think I think the cinematography was great. The plot was a little implausible. That's my 2-sentence review. But Brad Pitt's character kind of manipulates some races by causing wrecks, and all I can think is like he'd be banned from iRacing for doing that. There's no way that's gonna fly.
Yeah, iRacing actually just did ban a couple drivers for ruining the 24-hour race. One of the only times they actually were public about disciplinary measures. So.
Yeah, that was definitely the hot topic on Reddit this week. I think everybody is glad to see him drop the hammer on some of those things. Now, when we had those early cautions, Doug Denise was looking really great. He was ahead of Burden and Bailey in that Eliminator Challenge, but right now he's running back in 15th. Does not seem to have the speed here at Dover. No, he's any damage or anything. He just maybe hasn't figured out the line, or maybe his tires are going to come on here later in the run.
One of those things. He kind of reminds me, if we're talking the tournament, of like Ty Dillon. Like, he was kind of on the outside, you know, on the lower end of the points, but he has been racing really well and doing what he needs to in order to advance in the eliminator. So his luck might just finally have ran out this week, as Burden and Bailey have way more speed than Denise does at the moment. But it's a long race. I mean, we're only a quarter of the way in, so we'll see what happens as this race wears on.
Yeah, Denise sitting 8th in points. Oh, Cogswell down into the wall. He's going to bring it to pit road right away. But yeah, Denise sitting 8th in points, so not 100% clinched into the chase at this point, but pretty comfortable compared to some other drivers. Just hasn't been able to score that win yet this season. Kind of do that, but winning the Eliminator Challenge would be another way to kind of stamp your brand on the chase and say you're a legitimate contender here.
Yeah,
Both
definitely
Berg
give
and
you
Bailey
those,
now into the top 5.
I definitely give you those bonus points for that chase, which would definitely help save you a little bit of time trying to make some points up there.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd be more of just a confidence booster to know you kind of beat the best of the best heads up in the middle of the season. That tells you could do it at the end of the season if you needed to.
Starting to see a battle start to take place, or get closer anyway here for second place, as Furtick is able to wrap that bottom, and he is closing the gap now down under 2/10 here to Andrew Chapman.
Be tight here. Both drivers giving the other a lot of room. They're still side by side. This is fantastic racing here between Chapman and Furtick. I think he's going to get it there. The 51 pulls ahead up to second. And he can see Bollinger now out his windshield.
Bollinger has just ran away and hid for the moment. But Furtick is closing just a little bit here. The gap is now under 5 seconds. It was getting closer to that 5-second mark.
Kane Lee is on pit road.
Kane Lee, Gary Nash here.
And I think the full pit window based on fuel is going to be... Oh, Chapman locks him up getting on pit road, and he's going to get a black flag there for speeding. That is really going to derail his race. We're seeing drivers hit pit road. Like I said, I think the fuel window is somewhere around 60, 65 laps. But if you're going to split this race evenly, you're going to need 3 stops either way. Why not come a little sooner? Get some fresh tires.
Yeah, especially if you keep seeing these drivers kind of slide up and get closer to that wall. No. Don't necessarily want to do some damage to that outside, but
tire fall off here, not incredible. It's about a second for the 53. Just about everybody through the field, it's a second or a little bit less between their best lap and what they're running right now on old tires. But if you're Dwayne Furtick, you're 5 seconds behind Bollinger. Just think about that. That's a second a lap. If you come in down pit road now, you're going to be gaining on that leader.
at least close the gap a little bit.
53 is kind of putting on a clinic here today, Mike. His best lap is a 23.77. No other driver has gotten into the 23s at all day.
He is almost a half second faster on the best lap than Dwayne Furtick. Bollinger, Furtick, Burden. Burden and Bailey both can stay out at least, a few laps longer than Bollinger and Furtick, as they came down and had their rides fixed on lap 6. So they might try and stretch it just a little bit to at least get a little bit more ground here.
And we see the 53 dominating this race so far, and we kind of look at the points, and it doesn't make a lot of sense when you're looking at Bollinger, because he has 5 wins, which matches Tristan Bailey, but Tristan Bailey leads the points, and Bollinger's in 7th. And really, it's just because he has missed 3 races, taking the provisional points on 2 of them, and then missed a 3rd entirely. So he has the wins, but really it's just scheduling conflicts have kept him, I assume that's what it is, kept him out of a couple races, and that has hurt his point standings. But again, he has tied Tristan Bailey for most wins on the season.
Yeah,
he's looking to get a 6th one today.
Yeah, he has, and I mean, funny thing, looking at the stats, I didn't know this till I just pulled them, but of the laps led so far, Tristan Bailey has been extremely dominant. He has led 1,025 laps here in ECR.
About drivers pitting earlier, but Dover's just a mile long, so if you pit early, you go a lap down. We saw Kane Lee was one of the first cars to come down pit road. He's 2 laps down. That's a big risk, because even if the caution comes out, you take the wave around, you still need another caution just to help you get there.
Yeah, and I want to say that
hurts.
Yeah, that's going to be Andrew Chapman's, kryptonite here, is he had that speeding penalty on pit lane, so that put him almost 3 laps down, a little over. So
here comes Bollinger to pit road. Made it 70 laps. That leaves Dwayne Furtick, the only driver who hasn't pitted at all so far in the race. Like we said, the fuel window is probably about 65 laps. Got help with a couple cautions. I'll stretch it, so we're seeing 71 laps for Furtick.
Yeah, these drivers have got to be thinking, what can I do to get anywhere close to Colin Bollinger, as Bollinger has just been so dominant right now.
Looks like 2 drivers just picked up meatballs, like Justin Hendry in the 85 and Ryan McCall. Didn't see any indication of a wreck, but meatballs usually mean you hit something pretty hard. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Hitting the water barrels. The Kyle Larson special. I think that was Phoenix he did that.
No. It was Homestead.
Oh, that's it.
I was at that race.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to swallow there for Justin Hendry. That's going to drop him all the way back to, I think, 21st or 20th or so. He's multiple laps down now, and he's parked it. Or, sorry. No, yeah, it looks like he's parked it.
They either parked it or he towed.
Either way, not going the way he wants his night to. So we now see Adam Bowden. He's going to hit pit road in the 94 car. It's going to let John Osborne inherit the lead. He's been out there 73 laps. This is risky for everyone on the track. Tristan Bailey picks up a black flag, Mike. Gotta think it was for speeding on that pit road entry. You've seen a couple drivers struggle with that. Looks like he's coming back down to serve that black flag now.
Take a look, see what happened to Tristan Bailey here real quick.
Said he might I mean, he got sideways. I'm not sure why you'd get a black flag for that, though. Joined safely.
Good exit, maybe?
See what we can figure out. Either way, that is going to be the next driver derailed by a major penalty. That takes Bailey 4 laps down. A lot of these drivers are going to need multiple cautions and some pit strategy to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely.
And that puts Bailey in a really tough position on this Eliminator Challenge.
I was say we saw it last week with Adam Boughton there. He got an unsafe pit exit, had to come back down and went multiple laps down, and that wound up costing his spot in that Eliminator Challenge. And Doug Denise right now looking pretty good at the moment. And that is one of the other things when you're on green flag pit stops. The drivers that come out on those fresh tires sometimes put the throttle down a little too hard and spin right out. You got to kind of let them warm up. Speaking of letting them warm up, Colin Bollinger, last lap was a 24.48, so he is definitely easing into his tires here. But with that said, as everybody has completed their green flag pit cycle here, we're going to step aside, pay some bills here. You won't miss anything as we go side by side. We'll be right back in a few moments here. All right, welcome back, everybody, once again to the Papaya, the Team Papaya 200 from Dover. Christopher Roth getting really close there to Andrew Chapman. Oh, Andrew.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, these drivers not happy with each other on the radio. Roth was in his ear saying, "You're a lap behind, get out of the way." And then the contact now, Roth a little apologetic. Chapman not too happy about it.
Definitely going to have some penalties coming out.
Roth was 1 lap down, Chapman 2 laps down at the time. Right now, we only have 9 drivers on the lead lap. Bollinger's been setting them up and knocking them down. So everybody feeling the pressure to try and find their way back to the lead lap if they can.
I don't even see that it registered here, but let's take a look.
Roth was clearly faster, but just gave no quarter to the 25, it looks like. The 25 he's kind of choosing a weird line, Mike. It's almost like he didn't definitively claim the bottom line, and he didn't definitively kind of move up and give Roth the bottom line either. I feel like that's a lot of times you can get into this situation because you kind of have the feeling either you need to claim it, and I'll give you a healthy bump squared up. But if you're a third or a half lane up, that looks like an open window to a driver with fresher tires or maybe a faster car. Oh, and then the 74 gets collected in there too. Oh, and Burden's into the wall.
Yeah, that happened right in front of the leaders. So
Fire Pizza Yellow, 3rd one of the night. Just about halfway here. So I mean, I'm coming to pit road, especially if I'm on the lead lap. Looks like there's going to be 12 or 13 drivers on the lead lap. We got Michael Carter, Christopher Roth, and Andrew Chapman all with black flags. I've got to imagine Roth and Chapman's are related to their chat conduct. Michael Carter, though, I don't know what that one was for.
Doug Denise came in on lap 80, stayed out on this caution, so he's going to take the track position. Start here on the front row. Going to have Colin Bollinger, Dwayne Furtick, and Tyler Burden around him there.
Looks like Roth's black flag was actually related to passing under yellow that race control has cleared. Still not sure what Michael Carter's was. Caution was out. He's kind of he's very slow on track. I'm going back and look at it, but I don't know why he picked up a black flag related to that.
Crashed. We can take a look more after we get back to green flag racing here. Doug Denise. Oh, Colin Bollinger spun the tires, went hard into that outside wall. Anthony Ludi in there. Wow. Another,
it's the same story, different driver, different chapter. Same thing we saw at the start of the race.
Disastrous restarts are happening here at the Monster Mile, as Miles has just said, you cannot restart here. guys kind of get single filed out. Let's see if we can. We're going to take a look here, see what happened to Michael Carter real quick. Oh, looks like he's just dead. Nothing really happened
I don't
in there.
think he actually crashed. I think the software flags slow drivers as crashing because that's kind of the best way to guess it. But what's going on there? Yeah, and that's going to set up the 51 and the 38 to leave this race. Those Team Papaya cars are now out front.
Yeah, just went through and said, "Yep, that's the race we want," because we think we're going to have some cars to win the race, and that's always something you love to see when you do put out the money to sponsor the race and try and get one of your cars into victory lane.
Eliminator challenge just got a little bit more intense as Bailey got one of his 2 laps back, and he is down. So now he is battling Nash and Walsh for that lucky dog, trying to find one more lap back so he can get up there and battle with Doug Denise and Tyler Burden, who are both in the top 5 right now.
And Tyler Burton came down, fixed his ride after getting into that inside wall a little bit, trying to avoid that altercation on track. But he is back out running P3 right now.
Denise, it looks like he stayed out on that last caution while most of the drivers on the lead lap pitted. So he's at about a 15 lap disadvantage on tires, but I think it gained him, 10 or 15 spots. Popped him right up into the top 5. Not a bad decision.
I mean, as long as he can manage his tires and get to, say 25, 30 more laps here, he'll be good, and he'll be sitting right there. And this gamble here might have paid off a little bit with that track position.
Yeah, I mean, he's sure going to lose a couple spots here, but I think the net gain will be to his favor, and he can make it on one more stop, and so can everybody else on the lead lap based on fuel. So he's just got a little bit worse tires.
Yeah, there's one driver in particular wanting another caution, but he wants the other caution if he can get by the 2 drivers in front of him, Gary Nash and Pete Walsh. He's got to make up almost 2 seconds to get into that lucky dog position, and then he will be begging for a caution flag to fly.
Gotta wonder how much damage does Bollinger have from that contact there in the restart. He's sitting back in 9th. Not a total disaster, but it doesn't look like he necessarily has the same speed that he had early on. He's got to have a little bit of damage, I think.
Now let's go back and take a look real quick. Look at that restart. See what happened here with Bollinger while we got a moment.
I think it's McCall actually gets loose and has to use the 53 to kind of correct himself.
Oh, it wasn't the 53. It was Doug Denise that spun the tires and put the 53 into the wall.
Yeah, Denise, not McCall. into these spinning tires, and then a lot of drivers getting caught up as collateral damage. Like I said, Bollinger not having the speed he had earlier in the race. He's about a half second off the lap times that Dwayne Furtick is putting down from the lead. Probably got his fingers crossed for another caution so he can get some repairs made. This next-gen car is kind of weird in that it's tough in the body panels, but it is weak in the axles. You can bend a tie rod really easy, or that link is kind of designed in as a weak point, but it just makes it, you hit the wall the wrong way and you've got minutes of damage to repair. And crooked steering wheel to boot.
Yeah, definitely changed a little bit there. Tristan Bailey able to get one of those spots. Now he just has to catch Gary Nash.
She's only about 0.8 of a second ahead of him, so within reach.
Looks like Andrew Chapman has parked it.
He's starting to drift back a little bit. Furtick's got a 1.2 second lead. And now Adam Boughton in that 94 is shown up in Lee's mirror. Both of these drivers up 8 positions from where they started the race, moving in the right direction. Now it's Furtick is the fastest car on the track that lap. Third, fourth, and fifth really kind of matching. And then John Osborne has maybe a 10th on those drivers just in front of him. He's going to be moving forward as these laps count down. Sounds like Tristan Bailey involved in some contact with another driver. He's claiming it's the end of his night. It was Gary Nash that he was involved in some sort of contact with.
I think red restraint, so.
See if I can track that one down for you.
As that happened, Boughton and Burden both got by Kane Lee. Kane Lee now back to P4 and going to be P5 momentarily as Osborne goes to the inside. All right, let's take a look here. See what happened to Tristan Bailey.
And he comes up on Nash, who is a lap down, but in the lucky dog position. I think Nash just got into the wall and had to check up, and Bailey didn't have time to react.
Yeah, it almost looked like Bailey.
Unfortunate for both drivers.
It almost looks like Bailey just tried to. Yeah, Nash is checking up a little bit coming through the corner. Looks like Bailey.
Nash realized about a couple feet before the wall got there that he was going to hit it, and so he checked up quickly. Heard him on the radio apologizing, saying he got in the wall and there was no other option for him. But that's going to take Bailey out of the race, most likely, and out of the Eliminator Challenge, leaving Tyler Burden and Doug Denise.
Battle going on now. Tyler Burton and Adam Boughton.
Burton on the radio saying he had a technical difficulty. His whole iRacing minimized there for a second. Amazing he didn't go right into the wall.
I'll say he was racing pretty fast there on that high line, kind of out all by himself there, but was able to make a pass and then almost had to give it up as he was trying to get his computer back working here, but still running inside the top 3 for the moment. Osborne down on the bottom, going to make that pass.
I mean, if he had had some sort of disaster there, we might have had a battle in the pits for Bailey and Burton's pit crews to get them back out and avoid that elimination. Lucky for him, he's still going. Who's gained the most spots tonight is Kent Mueller. He's running 9th, cracked into the top 10, up 10 positions.
Yeah, Kent Mueller just kind of slow and steady, working his way through the field.
I'll tell you who is working hard is that Kyle Diaz pit crew. He's been in pit road for 24 minutes, but has not quite left the race. Take a look at Bollinger. Led 73 laps earlier tonight before some contact put him into the wall on a restart.
Well, it looks like Tyler Burton's having some connective issues as he was disappearing here and there on the track.
Burton, his technology not helping him out tonight.
We talked about that diamonding the corners, and Tyler Burton is definitely one of the drivers who is trying to make that work here. As you see him kind of drive low, he'll let the car fade up just a little bit, and then he'll turn right back down on exit.
And that's what you do when your car feels tight. Most drivers out there right now, I've been out there for 35 laps, but there's a couple drivers. Doug Denise at lap 50 on his run. Again, that pit strategy really paying off for him. He's still in the top 5. Still on a one-stop strategy to the end. He's maybe thinking about looking at the inside on Lee.
I'll say he started this run on the front row, kind of went back to 6th or 7th there, now is slowly kind of making his way back towards the front. So those tires have kind of evened out here, and now he is feeling a little bit more comfortable on them. Battle going on for second. John Osborne and Adam Boughton.
We gotta give some credit here to Cartman in the YouTube chat. He's been active with us all night. He's saying Miles is just taking another snack out of the field every time a car gets taken out. He's hungry tonight, Mike.
I was like, he just wants that rapid fire pizzas. Oh, caution again. Looks like
Ryan McCall involved.
Oh, rapid fire pizza car going out this time.
Yeah, they are not having. I know they sponsor the cautions, but you don't want your own cars involved.
Oh, turned down a little bit with Roth there, then snappy loose to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, they both kind of had a chance to save it. Some other cars getting into the wall, avoiding it. I don't know. That looked like Roth was pretty clearly to his inside. Paul trying to do that diamonding and just didn't realize the 62 was down there.
And Mueller luckily was able to avoid that. All his hard work.
Another driver having technical difficulties is Kane Lee, losing a couple positions. All right, as we're coming around to pit road here, you can hear him on the radio saying it was just acting weird. And he picked up a black flag. Going back, taking a look. Yeah, I think he just a sped on entry by a mile per hour or two. Yeah, it looked like he actually got down to pit road speed at entry and then sped up for a split second, bringing a penalty there to the 38 car. Not the worst penalty in the world, I believe. Of speeding on entry is just an EOL on the restart. They got 11 cars on the lead lap anyway, so he's going to lose about 4 positions.
Yeah, speeding on pit entry. Like he's going back in. Might as well. They're stacked back up here.
We got Dwayne Furtick out front. He's led 43 laps ever since Bollinger got pushed back into the pack with that contact on the restart. It's a great jump.
Checked out in a hurry. Might be our final restart here, as these guys have got pretty close to that pit window, about 60 laps. So
I think they're going to be okay. I think you don't need any cautions. You can just run it out here. We saw a couple drivers go over 70 laps with a couple cautions in the middle. 61 to go now, 63 from the restart. I think you'll be okay.
Tyler Burton, Doug Denise getting close again, 5th and 6th. Aaron Miller, keep that number 10 Toyota inside the top 10.
This top 5, you got Dwayne Furtick. He has 3 wins this season. He's looking to add to that, but Adam Boughton right behind him, 0. John Osborne in 3rd, 0. Cogswell in 4th, 0. All 3 of those drivers are hungry for their first win of the season. They're looking good in points. They've been consistent, but they haven't been able to get that victory just yet. You know they're going to push hard here.
Yeah, John Osborne was actually the points leader when we started this bracket challenge here, or the Eliminator challenge. So this goes to show you that, I mean, he has 0 wins, but he was still leading the points. He was consistent all season for over the first part of the season here. So that has been paying off, and he is currently running P3. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, he has 16 top 10s on 18 starts. You can't do much better than that. And that's more top 10s than anyone else this season.
We definitely have to watch this 53 Toyota of Colin Bollinger. He was the fastest on the track, but one little hiccup, and he has found himself mired back or just inside the top 10.
Yeah, he spent 90 seconds on pit road on that stop trying to get some repairs as he gets into Ludi. Now off to his outside. Yeah, I don't think he had enough repairs or enough time to kind of finish those repairs.
Well, it's like you were saying, you hit it just wrong, and all of a sudden you don't have the steering you had before, so it takes quite a bit of time to get it repaired, and it doesn't look like he has had enough time to get it fixed where he could actually drive that 53 back up to the front. He was the fastest man on the track with a 23.77, still the fastest lap of the race, if I'm not mistaken. So
grabs the wall again. We got Mueller on pit road. Not sure why. He's only been out 9 laps since he was on pit road before. Either way, yeah, I think I was running a race Thursday night in the NextGen car and tagged the wall. It didn't seem like a lot, and it was 6 minutes of damage when I got to the stall. So, yeah, you grab it wrong, and that front toe link is done. 94 and the 51 matching lap times pretty much exactly, with Osborne beating them by 700ths that last lap. So these top 3 cars are right on top of each other on lap times, trying to find an edge. And then Cogswell and Burden behind them, they're side by side as Burden to move up to 4th. Their lap times are pretty much the same too.
Yeah, the only reason why Burden was able to get by Cogswell kind of brushed the wall just a little bit and allowed Burden to get into P4. Oh, battling again for second as Osborne gets by.
And I had said earlier that, I forget what point of the race it was, Bollinger was the only driver who had broken his lap times down into the 23s, but now Osborne in second, Boughton in third, Burden in 4th, and Cogswell in 5th. They've all turned a lap down in those 23s. Not quite as fast as Bollinger was running earlier, but they've all found something here as we enter into the 4th quarter of the race. Just gonna see how can you maintain that speed through a full run as those tires wear out. I see a little bit of different line here as Osborne has moved up to second. He's diamonding a little bit more than Boughton. And if you're the 94 and the 06 here, you're sitting right in that dirty air. You've got to find a way to get some clean air on the nose, or you are going to wear out that right front for sure. Ooh, they're both there. The 81 and the 94 grab the wall. That's going to let Burden kind of catch up to Boughton there. Got Doug Denise riding in 6th. That pit strategy from earlier just continues to work for him. He gained so much track position. He's safe in the Eliminator Challenge as Bailey is most likely out of the race. 37 laps down as it stands right now.
Yeah, so a few more laps and he would definitely be safe.
He said Furtick's in the lead. He's 2nd in points. He's feeling pretty good. Osborne in 2nd. He's 4th in points. But looking for that first win of the season. Boughton in the same boat. He's 5th. Doug Denise in 8th in the points. Cogswell is 11th. You know, he could really use a strong finish, and he's sitting in the top 5 right now. Really kind of seeing the consistent cream of the crop here at the end of the race. Also got Pete Walsh sitting 7th and Aaron Miller in 8th. They are both currently out of the chase if it were to start today. Ludi in 9th. He's 10th in points. Gained 2 spots in the point standings last week with a great run. We usually think of a Daytona or Talladega as a race of attrition where you got to survive to be there, but Dover is playing that villain tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. As we're looking back here on Colin Bollinger, and that right front is just completely marred there. So that is definitely what's slowing that 53 machine down.
Yeah, the question I have for our YouTube live chat is, who do you think is going to win, and who do you want to win this thing? Who are you cheering for?
Well, me, I'm going to say Dwayne Furtick is probably going to win. He has been one of the more dominant cars since a couple restarts ago. Kind of consistent all season, so I think he probably has the best chance to win.
But Osborne a 10th faster that last lap. He is gaining on him.
I'd like to see anybody who hasn't won get a win, because that's always nice to see.
We know the drivers put in the work this week. I think you were saying pre-race, was it Burden that turned 140 laps in practice?
That's something like that.
He's riding in 3rd. He was faster than both the leaders that last lap by just 0.02 of a second. These guys are all on top of each other in terms of speed right now.
Bollinger is almost 18 seconds back, so he is going to be in danger of going a lap down here, but I don't think it'll be too big of a deal for him. Won't really lose any spots.
Just 10 cars remain on the lead lap. Gary Nash still sitting in that lucky dog position in 11th. He is the only car 1 lap down.
Christopher Roth a couple laps, Ryan McCall a couple laps, Ainley 13. Kent Mueller still on pit lane, Kristen Bailey out, Carter out, Andrew Chapman out. So Kyle Diaz finally got out of his ride. Justin Hendry and Aaron Spear all out.
Osborne just kind of seems to be stuck here at this like 4/10 mark behind Furtick. You can also see Burden in his mirror. Feels like somebody in this top 3 is doing something that's going to save their tires for this last 30 laps. As Osborne goes way high. I don't think that's on purpose, but it sure gives him a load of steam there down the straight.
Yeah, it looked like he lost a little bit of time in the corner, but coming down the straight, he just gained it all right back.
I think his spotter's telling him what we just said. There's something about that high line right now. He kisses the wall ever so slightly. Back down, almost hugging the inside line. Just searching all over, trying to find the speed, trying to find the lap time. That's what you have to do at this point in the race. If you just do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. Second place is not what Osborne wants.
Now it looks like he's losing a little bit of time. Gap has grown to a half a second. Tyler Burton is closing in on Osborne there for second.
Yeah, as Osborne is experimenting with his line, he's sacrificing some lap times just to make sure, hey, what I was doing was the right idea. But I think I'd be doing whatever Dwayne Furtick is doing right now.
Burton and Furtick ran identical lap times that last time. Osborne just a touch quicker.
Burden into the wall. Again, it's just these gentle brushes. Almost Darlington-esque.
Everybody talks about, Darlington stripes and stuff, but Dover has them too.
Ooh, Osborne hard into the wall that time. That's going to let Burden get to his inside. He's going to let him have it for now. Osborne trying to collect himself.
So that was pretty hard into that outside wall. Luckily, Burton was able to check up just a little bit, get out from behind him, and make the pass.
Now that Burton has some clean air, we'll see what he has for Furtick. Furtick and Burton have combined for a quarter of the wins this season. 3 for Furtick, 2 for Burton. see there, on the last 5 laps, Burton has won 4 of them. It's now Bollinger, the last car on the lead lap, is getting caught by Dwayne Furtick. That damage has really just taken the wind out of his sails. And he is, I mean, you can just feel the dejection in that 53 car as he lets the leaders go by.
Especially with how dominant he was early. There was, I mean, it would have been hard pressed for anybody to beat him. He had almost a 5-second gain here.
Puts the 53 into the lucky dog position if the caution were to come out. But we got 20 laps to go, and it has been pretty clean with the exception of the first 2 restarts and 1 or 2 hiccups in the middle of the race.
I'd say if they didn't have to restart, I don't think we would have had but maybe 1 caution.
Osborne has like race-ending damage or anything, but I think he's got just enough that he's not going to be able to catch those 2 in front of him again. About a 10th off of what they're running.
Yeah, he's definitely losing a little bit of time, but he's maintaining his gap over the 94 there. So.
Tyler Burton about a 10th faster each of the last 2 laps. Now got that lead under a half second. These 2 pitted on the same lap. They're on the same strategy. Both took 4 tires. Back on lap 136 as they move under Anthony Ludi. Now that will put Ludi into the lucky dog position in 9th as Burden slaps the wall. Kind of had to alter his line to get around the lap car of the 95. It's going to cost him a couple tenths. Kind of heartbreaking if you're Burden, right? You're gaining a half, you know, kind of a half of a tenth a lap, and then you give up 2 tenths, slapping the wall. You're gonna go right back to work.
Yeah, and that's the problem when you catch lap cars. I mean, you have your line, you're comfortable in it, you're making time, and see the car getting closer, and then all of a sudden you have to alter that line, and then something happens, and now you have to start all over again.
This track is a lot wider than Bristol, but it reminds me of Bristol when you think about coming up on lap traffic, because it's a small track, so there's gonna be lap traffic pretty quick and pretty often. And even if there's space visibly between the wall and the apron, the racing line is not as wide as the track is.
It definitely
like
is.
Closing the gap. He's using every inch of track that he can. Gap is now down to a quarter second. The 06 kind of taking from the Osborne playbook. Higher than we've seen cars run all night.
It kind of looks like So it looks like Furtick might have saved just a little bit there as he is starting to maintain the gap.
Furtick just looks comfortable, right? I don't think I've seen him hit the wall all night. And Burden has hit the wall 3 of the last 5 laps. As he's getting excited about trying to take the lead. And there he does it again. Just needs to take about 2% off of it on turn exit, and he would get a pretty good run.
And he's got 1 and 2 down pretty good.
Gosh, there he gets him again. You can see that front fender is all scraped up. So he keeps hitting the wall. There we go. That was a nice clean exit. He gained some time.
If he can do what he does in 1 and 2 through 3 and 4, he will gain quite a bit of time. He just keeps having just that little hiccup there on the exit and winds up rushing that wall. Coming to 5 to go now.
He is, yeah, he's leaving everything out there. Not quite as fast as Furtick, for just 400ths slower as they work through some more lap traffic now.
Oh, into the wall
yeah,
again.
I think his tires are gone, and he knows I've got to be able to put the gas down at this point to catch Furtick. And if that means I'm hitting the wall, then I'm hitting the wall. Still got a buffer back to Osborne.
He's split the difference between first and third, so might just want to let it go here as we're coming to 2 to go. Definitely looked like he backed out of it just a little bit there, trying to maintain his P2 position on track.
I think something has happened between Ludi and Bollinger, both of them with meatball flags right now. That's going to take them off the lead lap. There's just 8 cars on the lead lap as we take the white flag. Dwayne Furtick has led 105. He's going to make it 106 when he wins this thing. Another half lap around. Tyler Burden doing everything he can to catch that 51. Didn't quite have it here at the end. And the 51 of Furtick in the Papaya colored 51. Going to win the Team Papaya 200 here at Dover.
Dwayne Furtick was able to take advantage of that track position and make there.
Yeah, that was great. Burden on the radio lamenting the aerodynamics of this next-gen car. I think he was getting tight in Furtick's wake when he would catch him. But that's the way it goes. If you want the aero advantage, you better be out front. Dwayne Furtick leads 106 laps. Over half of this race. Brings it home.
Yeah, that Papaya in the Papaya 200. can get John Osborne up here in the booth for you. There you go, Shane.
John, you got Shane and Mike in the booth. You got a copy.
I am here.
How about that, man? You come home third. We saw the speed there at the end, and then you grabbed the wall a little bit, and that slowed you down. You're sitting here with the most top tens of anyone in the league. Just can't quite get to the victory. Tell us about your night, though.
You know, I decided after kind of that first, well, I guess when we had that caution after we had that long green flag run, I was like, man, I'm just going to have to send it. Yeah, I usually like to take a little bit more of a careful approach, cautious, I guess. And, you know, the tires weren't falling off. They're just wearing tonight. And so I decided to just go. You know, thankfully it paid off. You know, I did not want that other caution to come out because I think I'd saved enough to do a little bit more, you know, with after I got by, you know, Adam. However, man, there was just a lot of aero push behind Dwayne, and he had clean air. And so it was just easier for him to do what he wanted, put the car where he wanted, and I was just trying to stay out of directly behind him. So trying to run a little bit lower, entering, and sometimes I was entering a little higher. And that one time where I hit the wall, man, I got super aero tight. I thought I had damage, but thankfully I didn't. And I just burned him up there. You know, so I was, you know, I let my teammate go by. I was like, man, you see if you can go get him. And the same thing happened to him. There was just a lot of aero push behind the leader. And there was just not a whole lot you could do. It was a little bit easier on fresher tires, but as the tires wore in, they got a lot of heat in them, and it was really difficult. I'm happy with third, happy with the night. Knew I had a fast car. I was a little bummed. I was slow in qualifying. Just didn't send it hard enough. But overall, good night, man. I'm happy to have you know, me and a teammate up on the podium. Congrats to Dwayne. He's having a great season. You know, I had a couple wins last year. Haven't gotten one yet this year, but I think I might be knocking on the door. So we'll see.
Yeah, tremendous run for you. And you've just been the mark of consistency all season. Like I said, you lead the league in top tens. You're sitting fourth in points with just a few races left before the chase gets started. So we're hoping you can grab a win before it gets started. But even if you don't, you're having a great season. Congratulations on the podium finish. Who else you got to send some shout outs and thanks to?
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Definitely want to shout out my team, Eons Motorsports. You know, we work hand in hand together to try to get the best approach to each and every one of these races, and everybody does a really good job of sharing feedback and, you know, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So, you know, thanks to everybody on our team. Thank you guys up here in the booth for what you do. It's probably a good broadcast tonight. We definitely had some tempers a little bit tonight. It was good racing at Dover. That, you know, that hot track temp, man. It was a weird mix of loose early and tight late. But also want to thank Adam for putting on such a great league. This is my fourth season. I don't even remember. It all runs together now. But thank my mom and dad. I believe they're watching. They're down in Florida visiting family. Uncle Chet, if you're watching, Scotty, thank y'all for watching. You know, love y'all, miss y'all, and yeah, it was a good night, man. But appreciate y'all, and we'll get after it again next week at Indy.
All right, congratulations again on the podium finish. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
Get the 06 machine in here. Hey, Tyler, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Living the dream, somebody's dream. almost ended that. That's what I normally do. That's bad. How you doing?
Definitely. It looked like you had a little technical difficulty for a little bit and then got it under control, but you're able to survive and advance here in this Eliminator Challenge as well. So congrats on that. What you can do next week at Indy. But how was it racing out there tonight?
It was interesting. This what they've done. It seems like they've given us a softer tire for here. It was pretty interesting. It it was weird because it seemed like it wasn't a fall off tire. It was just a tire that degrades. And you've just got to keep an eye on the degradation of the tire. But yeah, it was an interesting race. It was actually kind of fun. You mentioned the technical difficulties. My triples went down to a single, and if anybody knows that what it's like running with triples, and then it all of a sudden goes to a single, and your FOV's really far back, how hard that is to drive. But I didn't think we were gonna get that extra caution, so I just hurried up, grabbed my keyboard off the floor, and hit Alt Enter down the backstretch, and just hoped it kept straight. And surprisingly, it did. Then that caution saved me. But yeah, I was gonna take it to Dwayne. I was feeling good about catching Dwayne, but that's just one thing I hate about these cars is that the aero is just it's annoying. As soon as I would make the run, try and get the run on Dwayne, as soon as you made that crossover and all of his air, it removed all the air off the front of your car. The car just it would push to the wall, and I was like, screw it. If I tear down the wall trying to get to him, somebody's gonna have to come out here with a welder and repair it, because I'm gonna hit it if it means I'm gonna catch him. But fortunately, car just didn't have it in it. But hey, I'll take it after getting involved with 2 wrecks at the beginning because of wheel spin, which I think at most I only had 30 seconds of damage. Got both of those fixed and came back around strong and showed how strong I am here at Dover.
Definitely. So congrats on your P2 finish and moving on in that Eliminator Challenge. Anybody want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the Eon guys, and me and Tristan put in a little work after we figured out what the tires were gonna do, and give a shout out to Humanities 101. Excuse me, Summit Racing, who's been shutting up and taking my money because I'm trying to build my '88 Camaro to be a road race car. Who else? I want to thank my mom and dad, especially my dad, getting me into racing and teaching me everything he knew. And I'll give a shout out to Dwayne. I have a lot of fun racing with Dwayne. I can't say enough about how fun it is to race with Dwayne and the group of these guys. And I'll give you guys a shout out for putting all this on, giving the fans out there a show. We really appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats and good luck next week, and we'll see what if you can win this Eliminator Challenge.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get you to the race winner here.
Dwayne, you got Shane and Mike in the booth. You got a copy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You still out there doing burnouts?
Absolutely.
All right, what a week for you, man. First, you pull off the hat trick here, because first, you dropped the most epic paint scheme reveal video I've ever seen for your Logitech Pro scheme. Then you come out here, you guys are sponsoring the race for Team Papaya. At one point, you and Kane are 1-2 leading the race, looking great. And then you bring home the victory after leading 106 laps. Tell us about your night.
Incredible night. Going back to the first lap, obviously folks spinning their tires. I kind of saw that coming from a mile away, and just tried to keep the fenders on the car. But incredible car, incredible effort. Glad to put the number 51 Dell Logitech machine in victory lane, especially during our sponsored race, and just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, is the Logitech Pro wheel something new to you, or just a new scheme? You've been running that a while.
I've had the wheel now since it got released, and incredible product. It's just built to win. We win to play, and that's what it is. That's what it's all about.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we saw kind of Bollinger dominating the race earlier, and then he caught some contact, and that let you get into the lead, and you didn't give it up from there. We heard a couple drivers talking about the aero push racing behind you. They felt like they could catch you, and then when they got there, they're just up into the wall trying to catch you. Are you aware of that as the leader, and you're kind of using that, or is that just kind of the way it goes? You're sticking to whatever line's working for you?
I am very cognizant of that. When 81 started getting a little bit close, and Tyler started getting a little bit close, just try to keep dirty air on their fenders as much as possible, but also keep enough distance, because that could become a detriment as the telling car sort of gets a little bit closer. So I was cognizant of that, and I was like, I can't let them get too close, otherwise the bubble effect works opposite. So.
Well, great race. Congratulations on the win. Who else you got to thank for tonight's performance?
I want to thank my incredible teammates, Southern Alliance Racing. South is the best owner in the business. Obviously, a great teammate, Kang Lee, Justin, just an incredible group. Thank the admins here at ECR for the incredible job they do. And also, last but not least, thank you guys for what you guys do in the booth.
Yes, sir. We're glad to be here. This was a great race. Some pit strategy, some tire strategy, some aero blocking, some elbows out racing, and like you said, the track temp really surprised some people there with the wheel spin early. So kind of everything you could hope for. Congratulations again on the win, and we'll look forward to seeing what you can do at Indy next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. With that, let's go ahead and bring up the race results real quick. Wayne Furtick, Tyler Burden, and John Osborne with the top three. Adam Boughton, Doug Denise going to move on in the Eliminator Challenge and with the top five. Pete Walsh with a strong P6 here. Jonathan Cogswell, Aaron Miller, Anthony Ludi, and Colin Bollinger with a heartbreaking P10. Gary Nash, Christopher Roth, Ryan McCall, Kane Lee, Kent Mueller round out that top 15. Tristan Bailey, late race incident, brings home P16 and is eliminated from the Eliminator Challenge. Michael Carter, Andrew Chapman are the top 18. 19th is Kyle Diaz, Justin Hendry, and Aaron Spear round out the field here tonight. So that is where we ended here, but next week we're at Indy. I mean, that's going to be a lot to look forward to. Go from a mile track to one, slightly bigger, almost double in size.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 2.5, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
it's a big one.
Definitely going to be a little different. They're running the oval, so we'll see what these guys can do at Indy. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up here tonight, Shane?
No, I mean, this was a great race. We had some surprises early as the track temp and the wheel spin really shook things up to begin with. We saw our Eliminator Challenge get faced with drama, and then we saw Furtick kind of using the air to keep anybody from getting to his bumper and bringing home another victory on the season. This was a great one, and I'm looking forward to Indy.
Yeah, definitely. But with that, we're going to wrap it up here tonight. From all the drivers of the ECR NextGen League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we will see you next week at Indy.